my fantasy football bust this year is De'Von Achane. I'm saying Achane because people commented in the
It's
YouTube chat when
Achane,
I
isn't
said
it? Achane.
Achane. They
Yeah,
didn't like it. I'm just trying to please everybody, but I'm
pretty
not going to
sure it's
please you
Achane.
with telling you that he's a bust. I mean, listen, he's still slated as as a mid to late second round, early third round pick. Finished as the RB24 last year, 11 games, going off the board as the 11th running back right now. Now, if you've watched our content before, this is going to sound a little bit like a broken record because I've said these things before, but it's because I believe in them. I don't think at the end of the day, I don't think Raheem Mostert completely goes away. And when you talk about the workload that De'Von Achane had last year, 23% of the carries. Again, he only played in 11 games. Most are played in 15. Now, is that number going to go up a bit? Sure. But is it going to go up to a stratospheric amount? I don't see it. And I know everybody wants to point to the birth certificate of Raheem Mostert and say that's why it's going to go down. Well, he was old last year too, according to a lot of you, but he still scored 21 touchdowns. That's going to go down this year, obviously. We all know touchdown regression is coming for Raheem Mostert. But when you look at running backs that have finished in the top 12 last year, the percentage of carries, I'll just run through it 55%. This is percentage of running back touches in the run game. So not targets, just run game. 55%, 46%, 59, 58, 67, 48, 62, 63, 41, 37 was the low one. Then we got 46 and 54. De'Von Achane, again, 23% of the rushing attempts. I don't see it. I don't see where he returns the value. Now, listen, is there a world where I can be incredibly wrong on this? 1,000%. There's a lot of very smart analysts who love De'Von Achane. I just, again, you also, by the way, didn't even mention this. Jalen Wright was drafted this year, and people say that he could hurt Mostert when they wanted to talk about De'Von Achane. Well, why can't Wright hurt Achane? Why can't he eat into both production? Then you talk about the injury history. Mostert and Achane are not exactly sitting there with the cleanest bill of health. There's a reason why De'Von Achane only played in 11 games last year. So we reference this a lot. I love him in best ball. I've got him in a best ball lineup in a slow draft right now on DraftKings, and I couldn't be happier about it because you want to know why? I'm going to buy into those big weeks because he's going to have those big weeks. Somebody mentioned to me on X, like, oh, man, you must have forgot about the 4-touchdown game. No, I didn't. I also didn't forget about the time that he missed a couple of weeks because he was injured. And he was injured. He was injured early on, training camp, preseason. So I get it. It's dynamic. It's a very shiny toy. It looks very nice. But I personally cannot invest late second round, early third if I can't rely on a player to be there for a majority of the season. That's my big issue here with De'Von Achane. This is why I can't do it. And I don't, again, I mentioned the running back touches, 23% last year. Mostert had 46. How much of a percentage do you all expect Mostert to lose to make De'Von Achane worth that second round pick or that early third round pick? I just don't see it. And listen, maybe he comes close to it. I don't think he's returning that value. And I've said this all off season. I'm going to continue to beat the drum. I know it's not popular. And for those who want to come at me, I don't mind being wrong. I will be there for the slings and arrows in late December while we're all celebrating Christmas or whatever holiday you hold near and dear to your heart. De'Von Achane for me is going to be a bit of a fantasy football bust. Does anybody, because I know this has been a hot topic, does anybody have anything that they would like to add or disagree on or what have you?
The only thing I'm excited to see is if they deploy Achane in the pass game more, which we saw a little bit in preseason, where maybe they could even find ways to have Mostert in the backfield and Achane, split out wide. That I'd be interested to see where they can get both guys, and they might be able to get both guys on the field at the same time. I don't know. I just think Achane for me, we've talked about it, and I think He was really high at round 2 when we started this offseason. Now he's in round 3. Sometimes he gets pushed back to the end of round 3. I don't mind taking a chance on him at that point because of the upside and because of the cost. But I do have buyers beware of him for sure this year.
So I'm going to go on the other side here. De'Von Achane doesn't need volume. I get it. When you're drafting a player in the second round, you want volume, right? You want to depend on that high floor. But Achane, now he played in 11 games. 2 of those games that he played, he had a total of 4 touches. So let's kick them out because obviously the first game, week 2 against New England, he was just getting back. Obviously, week 3 is when he popped. And then there was another week, week 11 against Vegas, where he comes back from that week 5 injury against the Giants and not very much involved. So if you take away those 2 games and the 4 total touches in those 2 games, and you do the math, De'Von Achane averaged 14 touches a game and was the 5th best running back in fantasy points per game. If De'Von Achane can stay healthy and gets a similar workload, we're not asking a lot, roughly 14 touches a game, then I think he absolutely smashes that ADP. But again, can he be a bust? Yes. Can he win the league for you? Absolutely. It's just a matter of, can you handle that variance? Are you prepared to where if he does miss 6 games, are you the type of fantasy player to where you're going to be prepared for that? Or is it going to make you go crazy? If it's going to make you go crazy, don't fucking draft it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll just say that when you hear a lot of these smart minds talk about Achane, they also play in points leagues, total points leagues, a lot of these high stakes. And that's where these guys are taking him for that upside because they play in that tournament mode, weeks 15, 16, 17, where it's all about points. There's no head-to-head. So I certainly see in that case, taking him in the second round. If you're in a home league, you're a couple leagues, it's definitely a lot more risky. Now, he could work out either way. I mean, this guy could still be a smash, but I certainly, I see I'm going to have a little of them, not a lot of them. I like Mike's points. You got Raheem Mostert. He's still a young, athletic, 32, 33-year-old, 3 years old. The guy's a freaking surfer, Then you got Jalen Wright, who's talented. So this might be more Achane next year than this year, but I mean, he really could be a league winner. But go ahead.